welcome to Mooncat Stories, your sanctuary for peaceful sleep and relaxation. As you nestle into your cozy bed, let the day's worries drift away. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and allow yourself to be transported to a world of gentle stories and tranquil adventures. Sweet dreams await as we begin tonight's story. Once upon a time, nestled along the rugged shores of the west coast of Canada, there was a quaint lake house, secluded amidst towering cedar and fir trees. It was early fall, and the landscape was painted in a tapestry of deep oranges, fiery reds and golden yellows. The air was crisp, carrying the earthy scent of damp leaves and pine needles. As dawn broke, a gentle rain began to fall, tapping rhythmically on the roof of the lake house. The sound was soothing, like a lullaby sung by nature itself. The sky was a muted grey, heavy with clouds that promised a day of steady, calming rain. Inside the lake house, the fireplace crackled and hissed, filling the living room with a warm, comforting glow. The lake house, with its rustic charm, was a haven of tranquility. Its wooden beams and stone hearth exuded a timeless elegance, and large windows offered a panoramic view of the serene lake. The water, normally a brilliant blue, was now a reflective silver, mirroring the overcast sky and the vibrant foliage along the shore. After a leisurely breakfast of warm oatmeal, topped with fresh berries and a drizzle of maple syrup, you decided to take a slow walk along the lakeshore. Bundled up in a cozy woolen sweater, you stepped outside. The rain was gentle, a fine mist that kissed your face and clung to your eyelashes. Each breath you took was filled with a cool, clean scent of rain and wet earth. As you walked, the leaves underfoot crunched softly, their colours vivid against the dark, wet soil. The lake stretched out before you, its surface rippling with each raindrop that fell. Ducks glided effortlessly across the water, their reflections distorted by the rain, creating an almost dreamlike scene. The quiet was profound, broken only by the occasional call of a loon in the distance, its haunting cry echoing across the water. The path along the lake shore wound through a forest of ancient trees, their branches heavy with rain and moss. Ferns and wild mushrooms dotted the forest floor, adding to the sense of untouched wilderness. You took your time, pausing often to marvel at the intricate patterns of the raindrops on leaves and the way the mist wove through the trees like a living thing. As the morning gave way to afternoon, you returned to the lake house, your cheeks flushed from the cool air. Inside, the warmth was welcoming, and you wrapped yourself in a thick, woolen blanket. With a steaming mug of herbal tea in hand, you settled into a comfortable armchair by the window. The rain continued its soft percussion, a perfect backdrop for an afternoon of quiet reflection. You watched as the light shifted, the grey of the morning giving way to the soft golden hues of late afternoon. The rain persisted, though it had lessened, and the lake seemed to shimmer under its gentle caress. You let your mind wander, carried away by the peacefulness of the scene. Later, as dusk began to fall, you decided to take a short canoe trip on the lake. Donning a rain jacket and rubber boots, you made your way to the dock. The canoe, a beautiful cedar strip model, bobbed gently in the water. You climbed in carefully, the wood creaking softly beneath you. With slow, deliberate strokes, you paddled out onto the lake. The world around you was muted, the sounds of the forest and the rain blending into a harmonious symphony. The lake was still, save for the ripples created by your paddle. The setting sun, though hidden behind clouds, cast a soft, diffused light, making the colours of the leaves even more vivid. As you glided across the water, you felt a deep sense of connection to the natural world. The simplicity of the moment, the gentle rocking of the canoe, and the rhythmic splash of the paddle were profoundly calming. You allowed yourself to be fully present, absorbing the beauty and serenity that surrounded you. When you returned to the lake house, the sky was growing darker, the rain easing into a fine drizzle. Inside, the fire was burning brightly, casting dancing shadows on the walls. You changed into dry clothes and prepared a simple dinner of hearty vegetable stew and freshly baked bread. The meal was comforting, the perfect end to a peaceful day. After dinner, you curled up on the sofa with a good book, the fire providing both warmth and light. The sound of the rain outside was a gentle reminder of the world beyond the lake house. A world that seemed distant and unimportant in the face of such tranquility. As you read, the words seemed to blur, your eyelids growing heavy. Eventually, you set the book aside and made your way to bed. The bedroom was cozy, with thick quilts and soft pillows inviting you to sink into their embrace. The next morning, you awoke to the soft patter of rain still falling. The world outside was cloaked in mist, giving the lake an ethereal quality. You lingered in bed, savouring the warmth of the blankets and the sound of the rain. When you finally rose, you made your way to the kitchen, where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air. You decided to spend the morning indoors, cozying up by the fire with a puzzle. The pieces were small and intricate, depicting a beautiful landscape of mountains and forests. The rain outside continued its gentle melody, creating a soothing backdrop as you worked. Time seemed to slow, each moment blending seamlessly into the next. By midday, the rain had lessened, and you ventured out onto the covered porch. You sat in a rocking chair, wrapped in a thick blanket, watching the raindrops dance on the surface of the lake. The world felt quiet and still, the only sounds being the rustle of leaves in the breeze and the distant call of a loon. As the afternoon progressed, you decided to take a hike along one of the many trails that wound through the forest. The path was soft and muddy underfoot, and you were grateful for your sturdy boots. The forest was alive with colour, the leaves a vibrant contrast to the dark trunks of the trees. You walked slowly, taking in the sights and sounds of the forest. You came across a small clearing where a babbling brook meandered through the underbrush. You sat on a moss-covered rock, listening to the water as it gurgled and splashed over the stones. The air was cool and fresh, filled with the scent of wet earth and pine. You felt a profound sense of peace, as if the world had slowed to a gentle, rhythmic pulse. Continuing your hike, you noticed a family of deer grazing in a meadow. They lifted their heads as you approached, their ears twitching, but they did not run. You stood still, watching them as they went about their business. It was a magical moment, one that made you feel deeply connected to the natural world. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows through the trees, you made your way back to the lake house. The rain had stopped, and the sky was beginning to clear. Stopped, and the sky was beginning to clear. The lake was calm, its surface like glass, reflecting the fiery colours of the sunset. You stood on the dock for a while, watching the sky change from orange to pink to deep purple. Back inside, you lit a few candles and prepared a simple supper. The flickering light cast a warm glow, and the scent of the candles mixed with the aroma of your meal. You ate slowly, savouring each bite, the peacefulness of the day lingering around you like a soft, comforting blanket. After dinner, you took a warm bath, the water infused with lavender and eucalyptus. The steam rose around you, enveloping you in its soothing embrace. You closed your eyes, letting the warmth seep into your muscles, the tension of the day melting away. The rain had started again, its gentle rhythm a perfect complement to your relaxation. Later, you wrapped yourself in a plush robe and sat by the fire once more. You spent the evening writing in your journal, capturing the day's experiences and reflections. The act of writing was meditative, each word flowing easily onto the page. You felt a deep sense of contentment, the tranquility of the lake house seeping into your very soul. As the fire died down and the night grew darker, you made your way to bed. The sound of the rain was a constant, soothing presence, lulling you into a deep and restful sleep. The house had become a sanctuary, a place where you could truly unwind and reconnect with yourself and the natural world. The next day dawned clear and bright, the rain having moved on during the night. The sky was a brilliant blue, and the lake sparkled in the morning light. You woke feeling refreshed and eager to explore more of the beautiful surroundings. After a hearty breakfast, you decided to take a kayak out onto the lake. The water was calm and inviting, and you paddled slowly, taking in the beauty of the landscape. The shoreline was dotted with small coves and inlets, each one a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. You explored each one, marvelling at the variety of plants and wildlife you encountered. In one cove, you found a family of otters playing on the rocks. They seemed unbothered by your presence, continuing their antics as you watched. Their playful energy was infectious, and you couldn't help but smile at their antics. As you continued your journey, you noticed a bald eagle soaring overhead. Its majestic presence was awe-inspiring, and you followed its flight with your eyes until it disappeared into the trees. The lake was alive with activity, and you felt a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunity to witness it all. By midday you returned to the lake house, your arms pleasantly tired from the morning's exertions. You spent the afternoon lounging on the porch, reading a book and sipping iced tea. The warmth of the sun on your skin was a welcome contrast to the cool, rainy days before. And you relished the feeling of contentment that washed over you. In the late afternoon, you decided to take a drive into the nearby town. The road wound through the forest, offering glimpses of the lake and the surrounding mountains. The town was small and charming, with quaint shops and friendly locals. You spent some time browsing the shops, picking up a few souvenirs and gifts for loved ones. You found a cozy cafe and decided to have a late lunch. The food was delicious, and you enjoyed a leisurely meal, chatting with the cafe owner who told you stories about the area's history and folklore. The sense of community was strong, and you felt welcomed and at home. As the sun began to set, you made your way back to the lake house. The drive was peaceful, the landscape bathed in the golden light of the setting sun. When you arrived, you decided to build a bonfire by the lake. You gathered wood and kindling, and soon a cheerful blaze was crackling away. You sat by the fire, wrapped in a blanket, watching the flames dance and listening to the sounds of the night. Stars began to appear, twinkling in the clear night sky. The air was cool, and the scent of the wood smoke mingled with the fresh, crisp night air. You toasted marshmallows and made s'mores, the simple pleasure bringing back memories of childhood camping trips. The fire slowly died down, and you made your way back inside. The lake house was warm and inviting, and you took a few moments to reflect on the day's adventures. You felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that this place had given you the time and space to reconnect with yourself and the natural world. As you prepared for bed, you felt a sense of gratitude for the time spent at the lake house. The days had been filled with simple pleasures, each moment a reminder of the beauty and tranquility of nature. You knew that the memories of this place would stay with you, a source of peace and inspiration in the days to come. The following morning, you woke early, eager to make the most of your last day at the lake house. The sky was clear, and the air was crisp and cool. You decided to take a hike up to a nearby viewpoint that promised panoramic views of the lake and the surrounding mountains. You packed a small backpack with snacks, water, and a warm jacket and set off on the trail. The path wound through the forest, gradually climbing higher. The hike was invigorating, and you enjoyed the physical challenge and the beauty of the landscape. The trees were tall and ancient, their branches forming a canopy overhead. As you climbed, the views became more and more breathtaking. The lake stretched out below, a shimmering expanse of blue, surrounded by the vibrant colours of the fall foliage. The mountains rose majestically in the distance, their peaks dusted with early snow. You reached the viewpoint just as the sun was rising, casting a golden glow over the landscape. You sat on a rock, catching your breath and taking in the view. The world felt vast and timeless, and you felt a deep sense of awe and gratitude. You stayed for a while, savouring the moment, before beginning the descent back to the lake house. When you returned, you decided to spend the rest of the day enjoying the simple pleasures of the lake house. The simple pleasures of the lake house. You cooked a delicious brunch using fresh ingredients you had picked up in town. The kitchen was filled with the mouth-watering aromas of sizzling bacon, fresh eggs, and homemade pancakes. After brunch, you spent some time writing in your journal, capturing the experiences and reflections of your stay. The act of writing was soothing, and you felt a sense of clarity and purpose as you put your thoughts onto paper. In the afternoon, you decided to take one last paddle around the lake. The water was calm and inviting, and you moved slowly, savouring the peacefulness of the moment. The lake was quiet. The only sounds, the gentle splash of your paddle and the distant call of birds. As the day drew to a close, you sat on the porch, watching the sun set over the lake. The sky was ablaze with colour, the reflection on the water creating a mirror image of the vibrant hues. You felt a deep sense of contentment, knowing that your time at the lake house had been well spent. That evening, you prepared a special dinner to celebrate your last night. You cooked a delicious meal, using recipes that had been passed down through your family. The kitchen was filled with the sounds and smells of cooking, and you felt a sense of connection to your heritage and loved ones. After dinner, you sat by the fire one last time, sipping a glass of wine and reflecting on your stay. The fire crackled and popped, casting a warm glow over the room. You felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that you had made the most of your time at the lake house. As you prepared for bed, you felt a sense of sadness at the thought of leaving, but also a deep sense of gratitude for the experiences and memories you had created. You knew that the lake house would always hold a special place in your heart, a sanctuary of peace and tranquility that you could return to in your mind whenever you needed it. The next morning, you packed your belongings and prepared to leave. The sky was clear and blue. The sky was clear and blue. The air crisp and cool. You took one last walk along the lakeshore, savouring the beauty and tranquility of the landscape. The lake was calm and still, the reflections of the trees and sky creating a perfect mirror image. As you walked, you reflected on your time at the lake house. The days had been filled with simple pleasures, each moment a reminder of the beauty and tranquility of nature. You felt a deep sense of gratitude for the time you had spent there, knowing that the memories would stay with you for a long time. When you returned to the lake house, you took a few moments to say goodbye. You stood on the porch, taking in the view one last time, and felt a sense of peace and contentment. You knew that you would return one day, but for now you carried the tranquility of the lake house with you. As you drove away, you felt a sense of sadness at leaving, but also a deep sense of fulfillment. The time at the lake house had been a gift, a chance to reconnect with yourself and the natural world. You knew that you would carry the memories and the peace of the lake house with you, a source of strength and inspiration in the days to come. And so, our story comes to a gentle close. As the characters find their peace and the adventures settle, may you too find your calm. Feel the tranquility of the night, wrapping around you like a soft, warm blanket. Allow the serenity to wash over you, letting go of any lingering thoughts or worries. Your mind is now a quiet, peaceful place, ready for the sweetest of dreams. Breathe deeply and let the rhythm of your breath guide you into a deep, restful sleep. Good night, and may you wake refreshed and renewed. Sweet dreams until next time.